Every year in Formula 1, we get exciting racing, emotional storylines and intense drama. But here at F1 Reverse, one of our favourite parts of the season is the yearly driver shuffle. The 2021 season was a relatively quiet one for drivers moving teams. But at the end of the 2022 season, half of the grid's drivers will be out of contract. This means there's going to be lots of movements, and maybe a few new faces joining the F1 grid for the start of the 2023 season. Who stays and who goes is always a heated discussion among F1 followers. In this video, we're going to look at the drivers going out of contract at the end of the 2022 season, and giving you our predictions on where they'll end up. There are some huge names in the F1 world in this video, so make sure you stay till the end to get all the gossip. Hey motorheads, glad to see you back on this racing track. Did you get road rage and need the scenic view of Formula 1 updates to relax? Then we're going to drive you. So put on your seatbelts and join us as we chauffeur you through today's video. But before that, be that perfect speed freak by banging into the subscribe button. Alright, we're good to go. Let's start our list with maybe the least known driver on the grid in 2022. Guan Yu Zhou is a controversial addition to the Alfa Romeo team this year, with many fans and pundits claiming that a large part of how he got on the team is the money he can bring. Having spent 3 years in Formula 2 driving on the Uni Virtuosi racing team, he has had plenty of opportunities to show his skills. In the 2021 F2 season, he finished 3rd overall. With 2 seasons as an F1 test driver under his belt as well, he isn't exactly inexperienced in driving F1 cars. But with many other drivers in the junior categories boasting much more impressive CVs, it's hard to see why Alfa Romeo went for him purely on a skill basis. We don't want to say Guan Zhou is destined to fail, but if you take a second to think about Nikita Mazepin, a driver who made it to the F1 in part due to the money he could bring the Haas team, the omens aren't good. Though Guan Zhou may yet prove us all wrong. We think there's a good chance that this first season in F1 could be his last though. Next up is Mick Schumacher. Mick was a very successful F2 driver, taking home the championship title in 2020 before joining Haas for the 2021 season. Despite his success, Mick has found driving in F1 more difficult, mostly because his Haas team car has been significantly slower than the rest of the grids. Instead, they've been focusing on developing their brand new 2022 car. Even with a lackluster car though, Mick showed some good racing skills and was significantly better than his teammate Nikita Mazepin. Mick's contract may be running out at the end of the 2022 season, but as a Ferrari Academy driver, there's little chance of him leaving F1. The problem for Mick is that until that spot on Ferrari comes up, there isn't another F1 team that he can really move to. So for the time being, we expect Mick to get a new contract during the 2022 season that will keep him at Haas for a few years yet. Alex Albon has had a turbulent F1 career. After only 12 races at Toro Rosso, he was promoted to the Red Bull Racing team, replacing Pierre Gasly. This was a huge decision from the Red Bull team principal Christian Horner, and the opportunity of a lifetime for Albon. Unfortunately though, he couldn't really capitalise on it, and a disappointing 2020 season meant he was let go by Red Bull for the 2021 season. This could have been the last we heard from Alex, but Williams have given him 1 year to prove himself, and we really hope he can. It is unlikely a chance will come up in the Red Bull team for him, but the 2022 AlphaTauri drivers need to watch their backs, because we think Alex Albon is going to be coming for their seats. Which one do you think he'll replace? Let us know in the comments section below. The other Williams driver, Nicholas Latifi, has the same story as other drivers mentioned earlier in this video. He is worth big bucks to the Williams team. Despite a disappointing few years at Williams so far, the money he brings in has been enough to keep his spot. The problem Williams have is that they don't have the big budget that other teams do, so any money their drivers can bring with them is key to their success. Unless Latifi has a complete nightmare of a season, we can't really see him going anywhere because of this. He probably isn't good enough to get picked up by a bigger team. So for the time being, we think he's going to get a new contract at Williams to take him into 2023. Another team that has both drivers out of contract at the end of season is AlphaTauri. Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda are two drivers at very different stages of their careers. 21-year-old Tsunoda will be going into his second season in F1 in 2022, while 25-year-old Gasly will be going into his sixth. Tsunoda only got 32 points in his debut season, whereas Gasly picked up an impressive 110 points to put him in the top half of the World Driver Championship. Yuki Tsunoda has yet to earn himself a podium. Pierre Gasly, though, has earned 3 podiums, including a win in 2020 in Italy. Two very different drivers with two very different sets of prospects. If Tsunoda has a good season, we could see the entertaining Japanese driver for another year at AlphaTauri. A bad season, though, could see Tsunoda out of F1 for the foreseeable future. We're keeping our fingers crossed for him, as Tsunoda's interviews and off-camera antics are a constant source of entertainment for us at F1 Reverse. Pierre Gasly, though, isn't likely to be leaving F1 anytime soon. He has plenty of experience, and as a young driver, still has the potential to put in some huge performances for years to come. Given the right environment, team, and car, the Frenchman could make a run at the World Drivers' Championship in the future. He should definitely be in the conversation for replacing Sebastian Vettel if he retires, or maybe even Lewis Hamilton if the 7-time world champion retires. Gasly is unlikely to want to return to Red Bull after how he was treated there last time, but the likes of Mercedes and Aston Martin are all options for him. We have some huge Formula 1 names coming up next, starting with Fernando Alonso. The 40-year-old is starting his 19th season in F1 in 2022 and doesn't appear to be slowing down either. After a 2-year hiatus from F1, he joined Alpine in 2021 with his sights firmly set on the new car regulations coming in 2022. A 10th place finish in 2021 wasn't up to the 2-time world champion standards, but with new regulations coming in, a fresh start for all the teams and a completely new playing field, Fernando will be itching to start racing and competing for podiums again. We think that a good year with Alpine will see the Spaniard stay for another year, but if the team has a tough time, then it could finally be time to say goodbye to the old maestro. The other veteran out of contract at the end of the 2022 season is Sebastian Vettel. At 34 years old, Seb could drive in F1 for many years to come yet, but he said that he doesn't want to be in the sport just for the sake of it. He wants to drive to win, and he won't settle for another season of driving in the middle of the pack. This winning mentality is what has made Seb such a successful driver in Formula 1. With 4 championships under his belt, his 2021 finish of 12th was a real disappointment. If Aston Martin can sort out their car for the 2022 season and compete at the top, then Seb might be convinced to carry on his career in Formula 1. But another poor season, and Seb may leave Formula 1, potentially forever. Carlos Sainz has had an impressive first season at Ferrari. After signing a 2-year deal with them in 2021, a lot of people were sceptical. But Sainz has had an incredibly impressive season and was the best of the rest with his 5th place finish in the World Driver standings. 4 podiums in his first season with Ferrari was a good start, but we're sure he has more to come. Our prediction, assuming Ferrari designs a competitive car, is that he'll not only take a first Grand Prix win this season, but also challenge Red Bull and Mercedes throughout the 2022 season. Sainz can have an excellent season in 2022. And because of that, Ferrari won't want him going anywhere. By the mid-season break, we'll know more, but as it stands, we're confident that he'll be at Ferrari for a long time to come. Last, but definitely not least, is Sergio Perez of Red Bull. This F1 veteran is out of contract at the end of the season. Though he didn't consistently challenge Mercedes or teammate Max Verstappen last season, we think this season is going to be very different. Red Bull made car design mistakes last season that meant it was incredibly difficult for Checo to drive, but 2022 is going to be very different. The Mexican is settled now, and with a brand new car for 2022, he will thrive. It's unlikely we'll see him regularly beating Max Verstappen, but he doesn't need to. Bringing in enough points to earn Red Bull a Constructors' Championship will be more than enough to get him a new contract into the 2023 season. That wraps up our predictions for the drivers out of contract at the end of 2022. Some of you might agree and some of you will definitely disagree. Why don't you let us know in the comments section what you think of our predictions? Make sure to share this video with your friends and discuss what you think the 2022 driver shuffle will look like. While you make your way out of our pit box, make sure to leave a like and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any F1 news updates. Till we see you next time, drive safely and bye for now.